Market update here on the 28th. So we got a bounce today, pretty big bounce, actually almost went all the way up here to 360. Let's start out here on the higher time frames. I'll go to the 4-hour. So in the video yesterday, I talked about where I was looking for the bounce to land, and 360 was one of the targets just based on the first and second wave length, and we hit that today. So there is a very good possibility that this bounce is already over with. If you look at a lot of the individual names too, most people are thinking we're gonna get a bigger bounce from here. We're gonna keep on grinding higher, which is possible too. I am not super confident either way right now, but I will say that this is already completed enough for a wave 4. So I would actually lean towards the downside more than the upside. But there is a gap up here at 364, although that would be a 50% retracement for a wave 4. So we've already completed the wave 4 retracement if it's ready to go down for wave 5. So it's one of those things where we're completely oversold, but the chart looks like it's ready to go down again. So on all these names, if you look at them on the daily, they're all red candles forever. And here on the daily, let's look at the daily on QQQ. So you can see here, we've already completed our green candle for a wave 4. So I'm actually going to label that wave 4 right now. We filled the gap. That's all we need to bounce for a wave 4. In my opinion, it should come down now. We should see We should see 348 next. If it keeps on going higher, it might be an invalidation then. This is 5 waves. This was 5 waves. We got our ABC bounce right here. It didn't quite hit the 1.61 fib. So if we zoom in here, this was 5 waves. We didn't quite get there on the 1.61 fib. And this was 5 waves right here too. So we have ABC pulling back. We came back into what would be the first wave. Still could be a B wave, but then if you zoom in a little bit farther to analyze this a little bit better, I think that this is actually, from what I see, I think this is actually A, B, or no, that would be wave 1, I'm sorry. That is actually a good chance, wave 1, wave 2, and we're starting wave 3 down. That's a very good possibility. Otherwise, if it's going to go up, we are in a supply zone. Think about that too. We're in a supply zone. We didn't quite get to the 1.61 fib for a third wave. We came down here. Everything is pointing towards the downside, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that this can't turn into a... This would have to turn into basically a short C wave, and then this would be wave 1 to the upside. And then we probably head to 364. So you can see how it could go either way. If you go down to the 1 minute time frame, I was looking at the 1 minute, it looks like downside to me. This looks like an ABC move, expanded flat. This looks like a wave 1 down, and then we get this bounce. That looks very corrective to me, even though it's in the 1 minute time frame. So I would lean towards the downside. I'm not going to say I'm 100% confident on that because we did barely bounce, but this is enough to qualify as a wave 4. And so for that reason, we could be heading down here to 348. And again, I don't know if I talked about this in the last video. When you're heading down here to 348, you never know. There might be some news that is able to send it all the way down here to 332. Because there's no way 348 is not enough to get Microsoft to 282, Tesla to 186. The only way those are going to go down that far is if this goes down to 332. So if it only goes to 348 and it's finished, and we have ABC, this is just ABC right here, then we might be done with the fourth wave right here, and we can go for a fifth wave higher. Or we get some kind of bounce and then go lower. So yeah, that pretty much sums up everything on QQQ. Fourth wave is already complete if it wants to be. It could be a B wave here and go higher. There is a gap at 364, but that would be a pretty big bounce for a fourth wave, and that would pretty much invalidate this whole move. So I would say 75.25 we're going down from here. So what does that mean for Tesla? Tesla had a pretty nice move off the lows, but and it hit the 1.61 fib. Zoom in even farther than this. So 5 waves, pull back, didn't get to the 0.5 fib, C wave higher is what it looks like right now. But if it keeps on going higher from here, could be a 5 wave move as well, because this did hit the 1.61 fib. And this is not retraced into here, so this could still be 5 waves. If we go higher on QQQ, then Tesla's going to end up being probably going up here to like 252. And that would just mean that we're going to go higher than that. Because if we get 5 waves here, then it's going to turn into an ABC move. We're going to be 252, probably come back down here into demand, and then go higher. The gap fill is at 262. That would take us right above it. So really, tomorrow is pretty pivotal. Tell us what's going to happen. 5 waves on Tesla. Then I have hedges on all my stocks right now, which is kind of risky, but I didn't want to not have any hedges if we do start selling off down and make a big move down to 332. So I have my hedges on. My plan is if we do get 5 waves on Tesla, because I own shares in this, if we do get 5 waves, I will just take those hedges off on a pullback, knowing that we're going to get another wave up. So it really depends. Tesla had a lot of option activity above the current level, though, so on calls. So I find it hard to believe that it's going to go higher tomorrow, but we will see what happens. That government shutdown stuff, I don't know if that's going to play into it. If it doesn't shut down, might get a relief rally. If it does shut down, then we probably could finish wave 5 pretty quickly. So overall on Tesla, just look for a bounce. I mean more of a move up to 252, or this would have to end up being some kind of weird like ABC move, probably the very short. Or actually, if we go to 348, this is a good chance, because 348 is only about 3% down. There's a good chance that Tesla could still come down here and maybe like double bottom and then bounce after QQQ bounces. So the possibilities, the wave 2 needs to hit at least 255. So again, if we fall short of that and QQQ goes down, if it only goes 348, Tesla might just come back down here to like 235 and then bounce after QQQ bottoms. Or if QQQ goes to 332, then we might be looking at something of like an ABC move where this goes down to 200 and it has a very short bounce. So it actually, yeah, it'd be like a very short ABC move. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on Tesla. It really just depends on if this bounces higher or is it going to come down tomorrow. And it looks right now like it probably is leaning towards the upside, but the options chain is flooded with calls. Microsoft, I'm also hedging this, which it's kind of the same idea as Tesla. If we do go higher, I'll look for a pullback to take off my hedge. And the reason I'm hedging this is, let's see. It looks to me like this could be a 5-way move though. Let's see. Now this looks like an ABC move. So this kind of looks like ABC right here. Gap fill has not happened yet. So if this fails, it looks like it's going to go higher, to be honest, kind of like Tesla, despite the options chain. But we have potential move like that. And then from there, it can go a few different ways. This could end up being ABC as well. This would have to be our WXY. Whatever. This is a very weird bounce right here. This bounce right here went from 315 to 325 in literally like 30 minutes. And so I thought that was going to be a wave one. It looked like an impulse move to me. But we came way back down past this. And so I started thinking that this is actually going to end up being, maybe that was the bounce for the X or B wave, and we're making the C wave down. And then this is going to end up being something like this, and it wouldn't go all the way down to 382. Maybe it only goes to 300. So there's a lot of possibilities here, but this could also, if QQQ goes higher, this could also be wave A, pullback. We get a wave C up here, pullback, and it goes all the way up here to 325, which was what I originally talked about. So on Microsoft, if it does go higher tomorrow, just look for this supply zone here at 316, gap fill at 316.33. Nividia should be ready for a wave 5 down. So the reason I think wave 5 is going to happen is because we went past the 1.61 fib. So this is already retraced to the 0.23 fib, similar to QQQ. So it should be ready to make a 5th wave down. So you can kind of see why I'm hedging my positions, because a lot of these stocks, if this is a 4th wave on QQQ, on Nividia, then we're ready to go down to the next level here. And so I want to be hedged just in case we get something tomorrow. But again, I'm ready to take those hedges off. SPY. SPY completed wave 4 potentially as well. Came up here into supply. It's ready for a 5th wave down, in my opinion. This would end up going all the way to 419 would be my target. So that's about 2.5% lower. So not that far to go, really. That's kind of the dilemma there, is if we're only going to go down 3% on QQQ or on SPY, then these stocks aren't going to go down to the targets I have recently set on them. So there's going to have to be something bigger to make it go down farther than that. Otherwise, the correction is finished. And I have to look at all these charts. Apple. So Apple bounced out of demand. See how important that demand zone is right there. And it is potentially making a fourth wave though as well. It's in the exact same spot as Microsoft and Tesla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it going to fail and come back down here and actually fill the gap on lower time frames, or are we going to get a fifth wave higher? Really comes down to that for me on lower time frames. Are we going to get this fifth wave, or are we going to fail and go lower? Fifth wave, then that means more upside to come. Fail and go lower, that means that that was the fourth wave here on QQQ and on SPY, and we're ready to go lower. So that's pretty much all I'm going to go over right now, but you can see how there is ways of looking at it where it could go higher tomorrow, could go lower. I'm leaning lower though because we are in supply zone. SPY, big supply zone right above it, and lots of options, calls on the higher side on all of these names. So I would lean towards the downside, but anything can happen. If the government doesn't shut down, maybe that'll be a relief rally. We'll see tomorrow. That's it for now. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you're not already. I'll talk to you either later today or tomorrow.